Hello, friends. Welcome to Operation Remote Resilience. My name is Kelly Campbell. I will be your guide through a 30-minute restorative yoga practice. So, for restorative yoga, it is a very grounding and nourishing practice. We take postures very slowly, also integrating in props. So you may see behind me, I've got a few different goodies to utilize. If you do not have any yoga props, know that utilizing any pillows, bath towels, blankets, even cushions from couches or chairs within your house can be utilized in the same fashion that I have here. I'm just going to share what I have, give you a few moments to gather things if you would like to utilize them, and then we will get started with our practice. So I've got two larger bolsters that you see here. They come in two different shapes. I've got one that is more like circular, and then I have one that is more of a rectangular shape. It's just personal preference on what feels best for you. I also have available and ready to go are a couple yoga blocks. These are phenomenal to utilize in restorative yoga and in more flow-based yoga classes. That blocks can make things really helpful. I also have a blanket. And then finally, I have an eye pillow. Eye pillow can be a very helpful item to utilize towards your final relaxation. If you want to place this over the forehead and eye region, and that can just block out any additional light that might be within your space to provide that additional level of comfort and nourishment for your body. So let us go ahead and start with our practice. Know first and foremost, before we take any shape, that you do what works best for you and your body. I'm going to demo and talk you through our practice, but know at any time that you can make the shape what you need in the moment. So let us begin first by lying all the way down on the ground. Send the legs long. Then we extend hands directly overhead. We're just gonna stretch. Reach in opposition. If lying completely supine feels rather uncomfortable, you can always opt to stand up and extend the hands overhead. Then from here, we move into banana or crescent moon. As you can see, I slowly move my hands and feet to the same side as I remain supine. If you were to view your body from above, it would take on that banana or crescent moon shape. A few more slow rounds of breath. Mindfully return back to center. Reach in opposition, fingers to toes. Gently work in the opposite direction. Take a few more slow rounds of breath. Inhale back to center. Reach in opposition, fingers to toes. Then gently bring both knees in towards the chest. Utilize the hands to give them a gentle squeeze inward. If you desire, feel free to add in a bit of motion. as you rock or roll. Return to center. Roll towards your right or left side. Utilize the hands as you press yourself upward. We come towards a seated butterfly. Soles of the feet come together, knees drop out to the sides. This is a wonderful location for props underneath the lower body. For myself, I'm going to integrate in my blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use pillows. A couple of towel rolls would work nicely also. Hand placement is personal preference. You can bring them down to the soles of the feet. They can come to knees, even at heart center if that calls to you. Allow the breath to travel in and out of the body at its own natural rhythm. One more round of breath. If you utilize props, begin to remove them and just place them all to the side so they're within arm's reach. With the help of our hands, we slowly bring both knees in towards center. Feet are flat, knees are bent. Hands come behind the body. So we work into a gentle windshield wiper motion of the legs. Now it's your choice if you would like to have knees, feet, thighs touching, or perhaps you desire to have some space between them. One more time to each side. You may notice in the way that I'm moving, I pause at the end of my range of motion. This just gives me an opportunity for additional introspection. What do I feel? What do I notice? Come back to center. Sweep the feet under the legs. So we now work into child's pose. For child's pose, either knees wide or a bit closer together, big toes to touch or nearby. Multiple options for child's pose. If having the hips to the heels feels rather uncomfortable for your body, you can take a blanket or a towel roll, lift the hips, place that blanket towel roll between the space, and then return the hips towards the heels. If it's not that, but more the ankles and the feet, we can take that same towel roll, place it underneath the ankles, which provides that additional elevation and doesn't have nearly as much compression or pressure towards the tops of my feet and my ankles. So, either of those, if you'd like. Then we're going to work our upper body down towards the ground as we extend our hands forward. And you see I'm already integrating in my blocks, because you may like to as well. Forehead comes down towards the earth. And if you notice, this feels less than supportive for your body, make alterations as needed. Perhaps you take a block or an additional pillow or towel and slide that underneath the forehead. That elevation of the forehead will allow additional space for the chest. If extension of the arms towards the top of the mat doesn't resonate in your body, always an option to add an ample bend into the arms or take them out of the equation completely. Soften the jaws. Peel the tongue from the roof of the mouth. And allow the air to travel in and out at a pace that feels best for you. Take a few more slow rounds of breath on your own. Work the hands back towards the body, palms connected to the earth. Press yourself upright. Remove any props you may have utilized. Again, we keep them close by. And we will move through just a few cat-cows before we take our next shape. Wrists stacked under shoulders, knees under hips, hands are wide. Toes can be tucked or untucked, your choice. Then we inhale for a cow, drop the belly gently. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Return to center. Make your way back into a seated position. Rotate my body so you can observe the next posture a bit better. A fire log pose. This is a shape in my body that I like to utilize props for. So feel free to have what you need within arm's reach. Doesn't matter which side you begin with first, as we will do both. I utilize an edge of my mat just as a general landmark for my body. If you don't have a mat, just visualize a straight line right in front of the body. Bring your bottom shin approximately parallel to that edge of the mat. I say approximately because everybody's body and anatomy is different. Every time you come into a shape, it's going to feel different from practice to practice. So it's nice to give ourselves that sense of support and ease versus rigidity when it is coming into a specific shape. So I've got my bottom shin approximately parallel to the bottom edge of the mat. Then I stack my other leg directly over top. Ankle over knee, knee over ankle. And you may notice I've got this space between my knee and ankle. Absolutely normal to have that space. But in that, I'm going to invite in a prop for some additional support. So if I just take a general idea of what that shape is like, I already can tell that the block is not going to be enough for my body. So I'm going to opt in my large rectangular bolster. As you see, the thickness is quite nice. So I slide that in, yes, right between the ankle and knee. And you heard me express that yes, because as soon as that prop landed in that space, my body immediately went, oh, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that you're supporting me. So you may notice that same sensation or internal dialogue take place for yourself of like, ooh, thank you for supporting me. Hand placement is personal preference. You can bring them down to the lower body. If you'd like, you can utilize a secondary prop and utilize that for, yes, our arms and perhaps even the face, the cervical spine. Absolutely normal for sensations to change as you remain in the shape. So I encourage you to explore those changes with a sense of curiosity. What do you feel? What do you notice? Take a few more slow rounds of breath. To come out of the posture, we're going to work our way backwards, coming upright, removing the last prop that I had introduced, which was that larger bolster for my upper body. Then removing this first bolster I had put into place. With the help of the hands, unwind the lower body and be very gentle. And I had described this class practice at the start. We move with ease and intentionality. Hands come behind the body as we reintegrate in that slow windshield wiper motion. Oftentimes, I like to opt in a bit of motion before moving on to the next shape or switching sides during restorative yoga. And this just allows that additional layer of introspection. Because sensations may arise in a specific manner in the posture, and I explore that with curiosity. And then as I integrate in a bit more dynamic motion, I still explore curiosity. What do I feel? What do I notice? Return to center. Now we will set up on the other side, but know before we do, experiencing vast differences in both range of motion and sensation between sides is absolutely normal. Occurs in nearly every shape of yoga. So I will slowly now bring the shin I had on top last time. I'm going to switch it, utilizing the long edge of my mat as just a general guideline, bringing that bottom shin parallel to that space. I stack the other leg directly over top, ankle over knee, knee over ankle. Again, you can observe I've got lots of space, and that's okay. I'm going to reintegrate in those props I utilized on the first side. Slide that large bolster, and in your case, if you don't have a large bolster, please feel free to get up and grab whatever you need, a pillow, a couple towels. And I really enjoyed this secondary bolster for my upper body. So you guessed it, it's coming back in. Now for fairness to my cervical spine, I'm going to rotate my head in the opposite direction. So here we go. We approach this side with continued curiosity, what we feel, and what we notice. We allow the cadence of our breath to move in and out of the body at a rhythm that supports us. And your eyes can be opened or closed, your choice. Mine will remain open. Take a few more slow rounds of breath on your own. When ready to move out of this shape, we begin to come upright. Remove the last prop first. Then we take out this larger bolster. With the help of my hands, I gently unwind the legs. Place both feet flat to the ground, knees are bent. Hands come behind the body again. We take our windshield wiper motion. Feel free to pause anywhere along this motion and take that additional breath. Come back to center. And now we will return supine to the ground. Supine meaning we're going to lie on our backs. I'm going to keep my props within arm's reach, just so I have them handy. We've got just a few more shapes for today's practice. Slide this one out of the way. Come all the way onto the back. If you desire, you can bring the knees into the chest, utilize the hands to give them a slow squeeze inward as you rock or roll. If that doesn't speak to you, you can always opt to just extend the legs long and settle into some stillness for a few breaths before we take our next posture. Return to center, place both feet onto the ground, knees are bent. We cross one ankle over the thigh. Doesn't matter which side you begin in, because you guessed it, we're gonna do both directions. From here, with an ankle over the thigh, we rotate the lower body as to bring that foot down towards the earth. Or a prop. I love utilizing props as to bring the floor a bit closer to me, in addition to allow me an extra layer of connection to the shape. With our intention behind our restorative practice today being nourishment, ease, grounding, I find that making space for props allows me to access that versus a strive or achieve in forcing my body. Eyes can be opened or closed towards the space above you. Hand placement is personal preference. If you'd like to connect to the breath a bit more, you can place one hand over the belly and the other over the heart. You can even opt to extend hands overhead. That can provide, for some individuals, a bit of a chest opener through the shoulders. Three more rounds of breath. After your third round, if you opted to extend hands overhead, mindfully return them towards the body. Then we slowly rotate the lower body back towards center. Unwind the legs and perhaps return knees in towards the chest. Again, always an option to opt out of this motion. If you prefer stillness, you can extend the legs long, or you can maintain knees bent with feet flat. Return to center. Place both feet flat to the ground, knees are bent. We head in the other direction. Cross the ankle over the thigh. If you opted for a prop, you may want to just move it to the other side just to have it set up and ready to go. Once you have ankle over thigh, then we move into the rotation of the lower body as to bring your foot down towards the earth or a prop. You may notice vast differences between range of motion. In that, you can always add more in or take away. So you set your body up in a way that nourishes you. Eyes can be opened or closed towards the space above you. Again, hand placement is personal preference. And if you explore that option of hands overhead and you're like, whoo, this just does not work, guess what? You can always take it out. Three more slow rounds of breath. After your third round of breath, return the hands towards the body if you had opted for the arm variation. Mindfully rotate the lower body back towards center. Place both feet flat to the ground, knees are bent. And reintegrate in your knees in towards the chest if you desire. Return to middle. Send the legs long on the ground. If you would like to set up for an extended final relaxation, it's a great place to slide blocks or a bolster behind the knees. That slight bend in the knees can support the low spine in a very nice manner. Can also integrate in an eye pillow over the eyes. If you are in a well-lit space, having that additional support over the eyes can really help nourish the nervous system. But for those who aren't opting for an extended final relaxation, we are going to roll towards our side. Utilize the hands to press yourself upright as you come to a comfortable seated position. That is any shape you desire. And feel free to integrate in a prop if you'd like, as elevation of the hips may provide some additional comfort for your body, as I'm going to utilize one. Bring hands to heart center. We're going to take 3 cleansing rounds of breath together just to end our time. Inhale, sweep the arms upward. Open mouth, exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more. Inhale, sweep it up. Open mouth, exhale, hands to heart center. 1 more. Deep breath in, sweep it up. Open mouth, exhale, hands to heart center. Again, my name is Kelly Campbell. It has been my pleasure guiding you through restorative yoga with Operation Remote Resilience. If you feel compelled, please subscribe to the Warriors at Ease YouTube channel and also make a donation. It is because of individuals like you that donate that allow teachers like myself to provide these continued yoga and meditation practices throughout the world. Thank you so much, my friends, and I look forward to seeing you next time.